I marched up to Bryson's door with a passion I hadn't felt in a long time. Knock, knock, knock. Hey Bryson, open up. There's something I need to talk to you about. I screamed into the wooden frame. Not when you talk to me like that. Use your fucking manners and I'll think about it. A muffled voice responded. Oh, sorry. Can you open up, please? Thank you. Was that so hard? Bryson said as the door swung open. Get in here and make it quick. I've got some homework to finish up. Josh is dead. Bryson stared at me blankly, as if he hadn't processed a word I'd told him. The feeling of his dull, gray eyes burning into me sent a chill rippling down my spine. What did you say? Bryson demanded. Josh is dead. I found his body in the vending machine. According to Clarissa, the laundry man got him. Bryson began hyperventilating. He grabbed fistfuls of his hair and started pacing aimlessly around the room. No, I told him what would happen. I told him so many fucking times that he needed to follow the rules. This isn't my fault. It couldn't be my fault. He didn't listen. Nothing I could have done. Yeah, that's right. There was nothing I could have done. Wait. Bryson stopped his manic rant and glared at me, narrowing his eyes. You didn't speak directly to Clarissa, did you? How do you know this? No, I didn't speak to her at all this time. The front desk girl asked her indirectly. And on top of that, I asked the laundry man if he knew anything about Josh. He was the one who told me to check the vending machines. Phew, okay. At least you didn't screw yourself over. I can't believe this shit. I had a bad feeling about that moron from the very beginning. I should have trusted my gut. No, this isn't your fault. It's no one's. We shouldn't have to follow a bunch of tedious rules to avoid dying at the hands of some twisted paranormal entities. It's not fair. That's why I want to put a stop to it. Bryson sighed, taking a seat on his bed. Sit, he requested, patting the spot next to him. I diligently obeyed. I always knew this day would come. Hell, deep down, I wanted it too. I always thought I'd be the one to bring about this place's downfall, but I guess I just needed someone to help me do it. And now it's clear to me that you're the one I've been waiting for. But before I help you, there's something you should know. Clayton, He trailed off before taking a deep breath and continuing. I've never told anyone this, but I'm dead. I know it's a weird thing to have to acknowledge, so you don't have to keep going. Bryson glanced up at me. I watched as his countenance melted from one of shock to acceptance. No, I have to get this off my chest. I've kept quiet about it for 23 years. 23 miserable fucking years. This is probably the only chance I'm going to get. I nodded, solemnly meeting his gaze. I understand. I'm all ears. It happened in April of '99. I was a sophomore living here. It was weird living in the dorms again, but all my friends commuted to school every day, so I didn't really have many other decent options. And I'd braved this place for a year already. Why couldn't I do it again, right? I was such an idiot. God, I was so fucking stupid. He paused, taking a moment to steady himself. Sorry. Still gets me emotional. So, it was almost exam week, and everyone was stressed. 9 more days and I would have been able to go home. I just had to focus on my studies and ignore these damn entities for 9 days. I was so close to going home and spending at least another 4 months with friends and family. But I couldn't do it. I want to see them again. I want to see them so fucking bad. I want to spend time with my buddies down by the lake. I want to hear my dad's hearty laugh when I tell him about my crazy misadventures. But most of all, I just want to hug my mom one last time and tell her how much I love her. Those things, they took that away from me. My whole world, everything I truly cared about, was ripped away from me in a matter of seconds. And the monstrosity that did it didn't give it a second thought. Bryson broke down. Tears streamed down his face, and I placed a hand on his shoulder as the sobs racked his body. Those were the most soul-shattering cries I've heard in my entire life. My heart broke for him. Bryson had lost so much, but he'd stayed strong for all these years. That only further steeled my resolve. I needed to end those wretched beasts. For Josh, Bryson, and every other victim they'd claimed. Once he dried his tears, Bryson gazed up at me, determined to finish his story. This is my punishment, Clayton. I was too arrogant. I thought I had the freaks in this place wrapped around my pinky finger, but they were really just waiting for me to slip up. And eventually, I did. I broke Rule 11. I heard the screech outside my window. If I had to describe it, it sounded like a demented mashup of a tiger and a pterodactyl. Deep and menacing, yet piercing and shrill at the same time. I had plenty of time to prepare, and I knew the drill. No sooner had I thrown the blanket over my head did I hear an ear-splitting crash from directly beside me. Obviously, I was terrified, but curiosity got the better of me. A shudder rippled through Bryson's body. Through all the anger and regret, I could sense something else. A deep-seated, primal instinct swam just below the surface of his words, one that very few people ever have the misfortune to experience. True, unabated fear. That thing. No description will do it justice, but I'll try. It was big, almost as tall as the ceiling. Its footsteps were loud as thunder, and they shook the floor as it walked. I shouldn't have looked. It was almost to the door when I stole a peek. What I saw haunts me to this day. Whatever crashed into my room that night was some disgusting bird-like creature. Disheveled, black feathers spouted from its body in rough patches. Its exposed skin was covered in scabs and festering sores. Its legs were long and slender, and they oozed pus. As for the feet, they were massive and human. They were missing several toes, and the ones that remained had cracked, decaying nails. But the face, even all these years later, I still remember it clear as day. When I glanced out from under that blanket, it was staring at me, like it knew. It had the face of a man, but it was all wrong. The skin was completely missing, leaving red, pulsating veins and sinew open to the elements. It had no lips, so its jagged, knife-like teeth were constantly bared. And those eyes. It had 3 of them scattered unevenly across its features. And they were all looking right at me. Then, well, I ended up here. I won't tell you what it did to me. I'll spare you that much. We sat in silence for a long time. If what Bryson said was true, I had to be quick. If I could save even one student from suffering a similar fate, my efforts wouldn't be in vain. But where would I even start? Bryson was the one who broke the silence. Thanks for listening. Feels good to finally get that out after all these years, he said, flashing me a weak smile. Anytime, man. Thanks for opening up to me. I'm just down the hall if you ever need to talk. I appreciate that, but I don't think I'm going to need it. I'm going to help you bring this place down. I used to think that I deserved to be here, that my punishment was to guide all of you incoming students and try my best to prevent your deaths. But now I see that my purpose is bigger than that. I think that deep down, I've known that all along. But now I finally have the strength to do what needs to be done. I nodded. Right. Do you have a plan? I'm sorta grasping at straws. I didn't really think this whole thing through, I admitted, rubbing the back of my neck. Yeah, I do. Bryson stood up and walked over to his nightstand. He retrieved an item from it and returned to his spot beside me. Take this. The dean is going to meet with you to discuss your potential leave of absence, and he'll probably try to strong-arm you into leaving the university on account of what you've seen. It always happens like this. Seen it dozens of times. Dean Michaels. He's the one pulling the strings behind this shit show. He's got ties to the occult. He's the reason these things exist. His cult members see these things as some sort of deities, and they need sacrifices. So here's how we're going to stop him, Bryson said, handing me a letter. I furrowed my brows in confusion. I don't understand. How is a letter going to make all this evil shit go away? You'll see. Come up with an excuse to have him look over it. Say it's a request to withdraw. I dunno. Just, whatever you do not read it yourself, okay? I stared at the blank envelope. Then it clicked. I began to understand what Bryson was getting at. Okay, I'll get it done. Thank you, Bryson. You're a hero. No, I'm not. I'm just doing what should have been done a long time ago. Now, get out of here. You've got an important meeting to prepare for, he said, ushering me to the door. Wait, but what'll happen to you? I shouted as the door began to shut in my face. I don't know, but whatever happens, I'm ready. Bryson smiled at me through the thin sliver of space before I heard the door click shut. I made my way back to my room, my mind racing. Bryson's story was stuck in my head like a broken record. His untimely death, the winged creature that crashed through his window, my meeting with the dean. It was all so much to take in. Little did I know, the insanity would only continue to ramp up. I saw it immediately upon entering the room. A letter was lying on my bed. I knew for a fact that it hadn't been there before. I hesitantly picked it up and began to read. To whom it may concern. Dean Michaels has requested your presence. Please arrive at the administration building no later than 10:30 a.m. Sincerely, the office of the dean. I pursed my lips as I tossed the note into the waste bin. Seriously? My roommate was dead, and that asshole couldn't even address me by my name? I was going to make him pay. Knock. 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 3 rapid knocks suddenly interrupted my train of thought. Dorm electrician. I've got to report that. I didn't give him a chance to finish. I'd had it with the bullshit. Go fuck yourself. There's nothing broken in here. A deep, menacing voice instantly responded. My eyes grew wide as the door began to rattle in its frame. What did you say? Are you calling me a liar? No, I'm sorry. I meant to say that there's a problem in the bathroom. Yeah, that's it. I was the one who filed the report. There's a light out in there. I waited with bated breath, hoping that I hadn't screwed up too badly. Oh, well, why didn't you start with that? I'll get it fixed in a jiffy. I exhaled a sigh of relief. That cemented it. By the next day, either the entities would be gone or I would. Either way, something had to give.